I'm going to talk to you a little bit about personal learning environments and personal learning networks to complement the materials that are in the module in topic 1. To start with, just think about personal learning environment. And this is really it's the space, it's the learning space, it's the larger area, the umbrella under which the personal learning network sits. And when we talk about personal learning environments, we come back to thinking about the individual and the individual setting their own goals, managing their own learning, and then communicating with others. And those are others that they've also had choices about who it is that they're communicating with. Some of this links back to what you were looking at in Module 1 when you were thinking about the students setting their own learning goals. This is important for you now as a learner, and for you as a teacher, and for your students of the future. And if we situate now a personal learning network within that personal learning environment, and we think about the personal learning environment as a learning space, which is what this module is about, we'll come into what it is as an individual and what those networks are that we make. And because of the technology that we have access to, the social networking technology that comes from Web 2, we're able to make connections, communicate, collaborate, create and share with people from all over the world. Now this of course is reliant on our access to the technology, but recently statistics show that 75% of Australians have access to the internet, which is quite a high proportion of us locally. Globally, it's about a third of the overall population of the world have access to the internet. The presentation I have here I made using Prezi, which is an online tool for making presentations. It's free and you can use it and trial it, and you might like to use it for your digital presentation. It shows you some of the technology, some of the social networking technology, the Web 2 technology that you might use as part of your personal learning network. The technology won't make the network for you. You need to develop that network, but the technology helps to facilitate that networking. You'll see from this graphic, it's the Personal Learning Network Toolkit, the variety of technologies that you might be using as part of your personal learning network. And I'm just going to talk through a few of them. If we start with communication, and we have things like Twitter, and the Twitter interface looks like this if you're not familiar with it, and you get a feed of from the people that you're following, and you can add to that. This icon's for StumbleUpon. Again, you can get feeds from other people and the types of things that they're finding on the internet that's of interest to you. This one's for Delicious. It's another web bookmarking tool. Again, you're sharing what you're finding. We have other social bookmarking tools like Digg. You can follow feeds from the Digg people that you subscribe to. We've got Diigo, which is a social bookmarking tool as well, so anything that you find on the internet you can share. We move into things like YouTube, where we're sharing multimedia, so we're sharing our videos and we can search for other people's videos and we can have a conversation and comment. Flickr is sharing of photographs, so still images. And then we have View as central to the whole PLN. WordPress is a type of blogging tool, and you'll be using that one for your assignment. And Blogger is another blogging tool, and there's a number of blogging tools now. So you don't need to know how to make a website, you can use these tools. There's little symbols for RSS, which are syndicated feeds. Again, you subscribe what you're interested in. We have Facebook. Most of you are probably using Facebook, maybe not for education, maybe just to share things with friends. Ning is a space where you can create community websites. Google has a whole raft of tools that you can use for a variety of things, particularly in education. If you're interested in these tools and other tools that are available, there's a document called Tools for the 21st Century Teacher put out by Michael Zimmer, and this is a presentation that you will get a link to at the end of topic 1 in the web resources section of the topic. One of my communities is through Second Life, and I find out some of the things that are happening with other educators in Second Life through a list that I'm on, and the list comes into my email account. So I'm actually a Gmail user,
So I'm big on the way I incorporate Google. And you'll see I'm just showing you here a page from the list that comes into my Gmail account. And it's known as the SLED list, so it's Second Life Educators. And through this list, I found out that something was happening, that there was actually an event on Second Life. There was an educator who was going to talk about animation. And I attended a little lecture by this person in Second Life. This isn't the actual lecture, but this is an example of what lectures look like when you're in Second Life. They can be in all sorts of fantasy sort of environments, but people generally show PowerPoint slides and talk. And so I went and I listened to this person, and while he was telling me about his little animation tool that he'd actually created, I downloaded the app, and the app's called I Can Animate. And it downloads onto your iPod or iPad. And the new iPods and iPads have cameras in the back of them. So I downloaded this app. It may have cost me a couple of dollars. I think it did cost something. And I was listening to the person in Second Life and downloaded the app, and I had a bit of a look at it. And then when my 7-year-old daughter came home that afternoon from school, we used the little app to create an animation. And I'm going to show you the animation. We uploaded the animation to YouTube.
To conclude this lecture on personal learning networks and personal learning environments, I'd like you to watch a short animation made using the Extra Normal Internet application. You can use this application yourself for free for your assignment if you wish, and you'll find a link to it on the site. You will see that the man in the animation represents the LMS, which is a learning management system, such as Blackboard, and the boy represents the PLE. See if you can determine some of the differences between an LMS and a PLE through the conversation that these characters have.
Hi, mister. Hello. Mister, are you all right?
Oh, yes, little boy, I'm good. But what are you doing here? This is not your classroom. Do you know the password to access this room?
The password. Could the password be demo?
Right, little boy, that is it. But I'm just kidding. Well, I'm Mr. Martin.
Hi, Mr. Martin. My name is Steven. How did you get here, sir?
Well, I'm the principal's friend, and he hired me to teach at this school.
I see. What are you doing here with all of those papers, sir?
I'm scanning all of these notes to upload them to the school's system, so that all of my students can read them on their computers.
Sorry, that sounds a little boring.
Little boy, all the schools are working on it. This is called e-learning.
It sounds more like ear-eating, but well, you are the teacher.
Yes, I'm the teacher, little boy. And you? What are you doing out of your classroom?
Well, I was in the computer lab talking to some Latino friends that I met on Facebook. And they were helping me do a project for my Spanish class with Miss Carmen.
And your teacher didn't ask you to buy a book to learn Spanish?
Well, not really. She asked us to practice speaking Spanish. So I'm doing that with my friends on Skype.
Skippy? Like the kangaroo?
No, sir, is not an animal. Skype is a software application that allows users to make voice calls over the internet. My Latino friends are helping me make a media cast to upload on YouTube and then put in my ePortfolio.
ePortfolio? What is that? What about your backpack with all of your books and notebooks?
My ePortfolio is my virtual space where I put all of my schoolwork to share it with my classmates and other students in different classes and schools around the world. That's why I don't have my schoolwork in my backpack, but in my ePortfolio where Miss Carmen can review and correct it, too.
And why doesn't Miss Carmen use the school's system with restricted access, so that the students can't copy each other's homework, and she can know exactly how much time you have spent on the computer studying?
She does use the school system, but mostly for required tasks like publishing grades and class content that need to be on the system. We don't copy off of each other. We work in groups and she gives us the freedom to develop whatever we want from the assignments she gives us. And she doesn't care how long we are in front of the computer. She cares more about what interests us and how we want to learn.
But those systems don't have to do with the school. Do they have the logo of the school?
No, not really, sir. They don't have to do with the school and they don't have the logo of the school either, but I can personalize them with my picture and with my own style and colors.
But why use those systems if the school provides you with a costly system to help you study?
That's true, sir, but I work in my personal learning environment in which I can incorporate not only schoolwork, but also other things that I like. They're systems that I can use in my normal day-to-day life, using YouTube, Facebook, Flickr, and many others. They allow all of my things to exist in the cloud.
In the cloud? But if you spend all of your time in the clouds, how are you going to learn anything?
No, sir. I'm talking about cloud computing. I mean, all of my things are on the net and not in my backpack or notebooks.
But those things are for computer geniuses.
Not necessarily, sir. I'm a digital native. I was born without fear of change, and pressing buttons doesn't scare me, neither does moving things out of their place.
I see, Stephen. Sounds interesting. Maybe you can help me use some of those systems, if it's not too much trouble.
But of course, Mr. Martin, I can share some of the things that help and motivate me to learn with you.
Okay, boy, let's go surf to infinity and beyond.
Okay, Mr. Martin, let's go.